Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Uranus Sextile or Trine, one's natal midheaven. Now, this transit could manifest in goals, aspirations, friendships, one's future, freedom, and independence, being in harmony with one's career and responsibilities. Now, I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. It's a transit where if you have a certain goal or aspiration for some career, this could be the time, which could be very auspicious for that. If you're currently dissatisfied at your position and it's somewhat monotonous, and you're just getting tired of it, basically, this could be the time where you could. It's about attaining those career aspirations. If you're starting to do something and you're training for something new, I mean, this is a good time to be doing that at this point in time. And this is a time where your friendships as well can be more, in agreement with what you're doing as far as career-related matters go. At this point in time, if you have your natal midheaven, say in Aquarius, it could be some career in computers or astrology, astronomy, innovation, electronics, meteorology as some examples. And this is also a time where friendships can be more beneficial than usual to you in matters with your career and responsibilities. If you're striving for some position and you're putting in applications, and let's say you were in a situation where you've been very persistently putting in these applications and you haven't had much success in doing so, friendships may be more beneficial to helping you. Either it could be finding that right company to work for, where they feel that you have a better chance of being approved, or somebody may know somebody that can help you out and get you, your foot in the door, so to speak, figuratively speaking. This could also be a time where you may have more freedom at your place of business, where let's say if you're in a subordinate or subservient position, it can be a time where the supervisor is not, you feel as if he or she is not like looking over your shoulder as much. Even if you have, somebody there in a position of authority over you that's somewhat domineering, it can be a time where that person might cut you a little bit more slack than usual. Maybe that person has taken some time off, and the person that's been kind of hovering over you is not maybe there as much at this time. And it could also be a time about, again, freeing yourself from that place of business, which ties into, again, the goals and aspirations of finding maybe a new career at this time. And it doesn't mean you're going to leave your current position necessarily at the moment, but you could be at least in that planning stage and aspiring to do something different. Now, another thing too about this transit is that your friendships at this time and people that are prominent in groups, clubs, and organizations may be more auspicious to you attaining some kind of success just in general. It could be simply helping you find a career that might be paying more money than the one you're at. It doesn't mean you'd be changing your type of career necessarily in that instance, but it could be a different place where you have comparable responsibilities that pays a little bit more. And it's also a time where this could be propitious for finding more of that rapport and that friendship. It could be with the dominant parent, which is often the father, older people, authority figures at this time. This is a time where, again, going back to, example, where if you're at a place of business and you're in a subordinate or subservient role, where you can, it's more of an opportunity, to even have a friendship or very close to it, with that supervisor at this time. Or it could be a time where you and him or her can mutually be friendlier toward each other. And it's something where, at the time of this transit as well, if you're dealing, like, we'll say, any disruptions in your life, or there's anything that's like, something that's shocking that might have happened or something unpredictable, you have a better chance to be able to balance that with what you're doing, at your place of business, and not let it disrupt what you're trying to do career-wise. Or if you're trying to, say you're at a place of business and you're trying to attain a position of authority, or you're trying to gain, more notoriety and recognition. It can be a time where you may be aspiring. It could be a good transit for aspiring to gain that position of authority at your place of business. If you've been, just like a general worker for some time, it might be a time where you maybe are saying, okay, I've been here for a good amount of time. You're looking at your tenure, your longevity at the place of business. This could be a time where you may be actually aspiring to do something where you gain more of that position of authority at this point in time, more so than you ordinarily would. And it could also be a time where Uranus related subjects, topics, could be more beneficial if you're trying to gain notoriety and recognition, or things I should say are associated with Uranus in general. And they could simply be going, using a computer, going on the internet, to promoting yourself for whatever you're doing, whatever business you may be in. In order to gain, more recognition at this point in time. This could be a very, good period, for somebody that's in, say Uranus-related field, such as working in astrology or astronomy or computers, aviation, meteorology, innovation, as some examples, because the midheaven is about success, and you're talking about the transit of Uranus making a good relationship to the midheaven at this time. And it's also a time where you could be more progressive in moving forward in career-related matters at this point in time. And I would say too that friendships can be more agreement, more harmony. With that side, you can't. That's difficult to suppress, known as the midheaven. I mean, if you have your midheaven in Taurus as an example, it could be a side that's very loyal, steadfast, persistent, stable, steady. It could be, maybe even having a calming influence on others. It can be also a time as well when you have this transit. The friendships at this time, I would say, are more beneficial to your reputation and public image. And let's say you've had a recent time, it's a recent period when you feel like you've been vilified, or you've been besmirched, you've been something where you've been maligned, something with your reputation. You've been smeared as far as your character goes by lies, by slander. This could be a time where friends, people that that are prominent, again, in groups, clubs, and organizations, may be able to help you lift that up again, or help you with your reputation and your public image and elevate it at this time. And also the internet can be positive for that as well. It could simply be about responding to people on time, very timely, and with being punctual in doing so, and that alone can improve your public image. Like, say if you're promoting something on the internet and somebody's writing you and inquiring you regarding that, your response time could pay dividends in that, I would say. Now, another way this transit can manifest, or reiterate what I was saying before about friendships, which is connected with Uranus, can be beneficial, more beneficial to your career, which is the midheaven. Now, going back to the midheaven in Taurus as an example, the career could be working as a stockbroker, pawnbroker, or agriculture. It could be in construction or gardening, cultivation, carpet laying, as some examples. Also, too, at this time, goals and aspirations, which is Uranus, may be more apt to be successful, which is the midheaven. Midheaven is connected with success. Now, if the midheaven is in Sagittarius, as an example, it could be doing something with publishing or advertising, or even printing press operation, as some examples. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, and also two clubs, which is Uranus, may be more in harmony and agreement. That side you can't suppress, which is the midheaven. Now, again, going back to the midheaven in Taurus as an example, it could be very steadfast, loyal, persistent, trustworthy qualities that may be difficult to suppress, which isn't bad. And it could also be a time where freedom, which is Uranus, it's more about having that freedom to accomplish things. Midheaven is about accomplishments and achievements. Now, if the midheaven is in Scorpio as an example, it could be accomplishing things associated with locksmithing, recycling, insurance. It could be refuse, trash, as some examples. It could be just compacting trash. It could also be a time where it's positive for doing something, Uranus related with the dominant parent, which is often the father, and that's the midheaven. Now, if the midheaven is in Capricorn as an example, the dominant parent could be Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply embody those characteristics. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.